Hi guys, welcome into Right on Rangers. Another edition, Right on Rangers Live, and we are coming to you after a bit of a heartbreaker today. We we were not thinking that that game was going to go bad as quickly as it did, but the Rangers dropped this one 4-2, and at this point, we look to tomorrow to get that series split at minimum. We actually have a couple of day games coming up. So we'll be coming to you a few hours after the end of the games each day. But, guys, of course, here at Right on Rangers Live, we cover everything sports, but we try and put a little bit of an extra emphasis on the Texas Rangers, of course, and all the teams that we love from the great state of Texas. So, welcome in, and we appreciate you guys joining us today. We're going to get to everything here in just a little bit. We'll give everyone just a little bit of time to make it, doing my best to send out posts letting y'all know when I'll be on, especially when these games are so early. Man, I have no idea why they decided to do three 12 o'clock starts in a row for this series. Three 12 o'clock starts in a row. I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but they must have had some grand plan in all of it. Or maybe something's going on in Detroit. I mean, I don't know. It got to be something like that. So we'll definitely adjust to it. We'll make it work, but it is what it is at this point. So, anyways, guys, we'll get started here. We're just getting some people in from Instagram at this point, and we'll talk about everything. Just trying to make sure that we're all good to go on all of the apps. You know how technology is. But I'll tell you what, just kind of starting to get into it, kind of leading into it right away. Really, really impressed with the pitching staff and what the pitching has done so far in this series. I remember, and I know some of you guys do, years and years ago, it was always the pitching that was the Achilles heel. And it seems like with this team, more often than not, it's the hitting, right? The pitching is doing great. It's just we cannot hit the ball when we need to. So I'll tell you what, I was really, really pleased with the performances that we got from, first of all, the starter, but then also, guys, the relief pitchers, even Lats who came in and gave up a couple. Really thought that everybody did great bullpen wise. I think that you consider John Gray and what he's done kind of been on the tough end of multiple games now. I mean, last week he lost against the A's 1-0. Real tough loss in that one. Then today pitches an outstanding game, right? And of course, we don't give him the run support that he needs. Thought John Gray pitched an outstanding game, 7 strikeouts today, limited the base runners. It was a really, really solid bounce back start. In fact, it was kind of like everything that you really wanted to see from him. In the last game, he got I think 9 strikeouts total, but at the same time, I know it sounds ironic, but he really wasn't missing a lot of bats. I think that there were like 20 plus foul balls. He had to go really deep into multiple at bats, especially later on in the game when he was pitching in the fifth and in the fourth. And this game, I felt like, was a much better pace for him. He wasn't going deep with almost every single batter that he faced. It just felt like a better performance from him. And really, anytime you only give up 2 runs, I mean, you should win the ball game. But John Gray gives you a quality start today. Love to see that from him. Feel bad that he didn't get the win today. He absolutely should have. And we'll do some box score review and kind of look over everything that went on today. But another big question that I had, just doing a couple big lead-ins here, another big question that I had is why isn't Jonah Heim on a day where the game before he got 2 hits, right? Jonah Heim was 2 for 4. Why isn't he at least DHing? I mean, I know that this week is a little grueling. You got a 4-game set with the Tigers, then you got a 3-game set with the Braves coming up this weekend. How is John Gray How is Jonah Heim not at least DHing today? I understand Kisner getting the catching start, giving Jonah Heim's legs a rest, but I really feel like this was a day where you took out one of your hottest hitters. No Doley today. Didn't see Doley till the very end of the game. I just feel like this would have been a really ideal game to go DH for Jonah Heim. If you wanted to give him a break behind the plate, have his bat in there. And I felt like the Rangers really, really missed it. So it was a little surprising for me. Jonah Heim hitting 320 in his last 8 games, 7 games, I believe. Probably been one of our highest average hitters. Marcus Semien, I know, absolutely has been hitting well too. But Jonah Heim, probably one of our best hitters the last 7 games. I understand giving him a day off, but I just really would have liked to see him at least DH. That would have been my preference there. Let's see. We've got a couple of people I need to get back with on comments, but I'll tell you what, I would really love to see this Rangers offense get hot at some point soon. They are really on the struggle bus at this point. Yeah, I really feel like they're going to catch stride eventually, but it's not happening. It's been concerning now for a little bit too. I mean, you had that big outburst on Friday night, right, against the Astros, scoring 12 runs. But at the same time, you haven't seen much output, I feel like, considering the A's series, also considering, of course, this series too. Scored a combined 3 runs in 2 games. That's not going to go very well. Not going to go very well. So I really would like to see this offense pick it up. Corey Seager, he is struggling right now. I think it is safe to say in a little bit of a slump and not sure what to do there. Not sure if Corey Seager is going to need to make an adjustment mechanically. Maybe that's going on. Maybe there's something else there injury wise. Don't know. But I absolutely would like to see Corey Seager start turning it around soon. Obviously, I leave it up to hires, the hitting coaches, and all that. But Corey Seager, I think, is definitely in a little bit of a slump right now. And as he goes, the Rangers typically go. And I think that they're going to need him to get hot in order for the rest of the pieces to fall into place here. So we'll see what happens with Corey Seager moving forward. Believe his average is starting to dip down there into the 200s. He was over 300 really for most of the season. Now I believe at 283. We'll see what happens. So I think that as he goes, Rangers are going to go. And the other thing too that I have down, kind of one of the big lead-ins to another thing that I wanted to talk about today is the 3-hole spot. The 3-hole spot has been a big problem for the Rangers this year if you just look at the numbers. So you consider that Josh Young, Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford are the only guys that have hit in the 3 spot for the Rangers so far. Only guys that have hit in that 3 spot. And Josh Young, when he was healthy for the first 4 or 5 games of the season, I think 100% filled in very, very adequately in that role. And he was having a great season until he got injured. But that being said, you look at Wyatt Langford and you look at Evan Carter and you look at what they're contributing. And I think that when I looked at Baseball Reference right after the game, I had to really dig for these stats, by the way. So you're welcome. But the 2 combined, Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford, hitting 190 as a pairing for the Rangers in the 3 spot. Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford hitting in the 3 spot, batting about 190 on the season combined. 12 hits and about 63 at-bats. That's just not going to get it done. That's just not going to work. So I think that the Rangers have to seriously consider potentially making a change there. I know that they love Evan Carter. I know that they love Wyatt Langford. Are they the 3-hole hitters? Maybe you just chalk it up to a slow start, and it is what it is. But I am very concerned that that 3 spot is going to be a continued problem for the Rangers. And there's a number of different things that play into it. First of all, you have to have a guy that can protect Corey Seager that other teams respect. I think that Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford can be those types of guys, but the way that they're hitting right now, I don't know if they are. You need guys, though, that can protect Corey Seager. Otherwise, teams are going to pitch around him. I think right now teams are probably going to throw at Seager the way he's swinging the bat. Although I have to say, from watching the replays of Seager and all of his at bats, he sure came close to hitting about 3 home runs today. I mean, that one that he had, I forget when it was, probably in the 5th inning, I want to say. I think it was the 5th, literally at the wall. And if you don't have a glove there, it might go out for a home run. So I was really impressed with the way Seager hit the ball and drove it today. I think he just missed a few home runs. That being said, considering Seager's production over the last few games, I think it's frustrating when you look and you see that offer there, which he has done the past couple of games. So Seager hitting 283. I really think going back to the point that I made about the 3 spot for the Rangers, they just seriously need to consider getting a guy in there that can be consistent, at least for a short period of time. I don't think there's anything wrong with mixing it up at this point. I don't think that you have to have Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford there every single game. Why not mix it up, play around with a few things? I just don't know if the Rangers at this point need to have Evan Carter or Wyatt Langford locked into that position. That's just me. I know that they have played that position very, very well, right? You had Evan Carter obviously hitting the 3 spot quite a bit, and he was doing that most of the postseason, depending on the game, depending on the matchup, right? But I don't think that the Rangers need to feel like they got to stick with it right now. I think the Rangers could easily mix some other guys in there. Now, who? Look, at this point, Josh Smith could hit 3 spot. I mean, he's hitting better than both Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford right now. I know maybe that sounds like a radical idea. I'd hit Jonah Heim 3 spot right now without he swinging the bat. You just need a guy that's producing consistently and has a little bit of a power threat. Now, Wyatt Langford is your prototypical 3-hole hitter, and I think he's going to end up being in that spot sooner or later. But for right now, we're just talking about in this stretch of games, mix it up a little bit. The offense is clearly struggling. Why not add in a few guys into that 3 spot and make some changes? See if the offense responds. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I sure would like to see the Rangers mix it up just a little bit. Again, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter hitting a collective 190 in the 3 spot for the Rangers this year. 12 hits in about 63 at-bats. That's just not going to be very good for your offense. It's not going to cut it, and I think the Rangers need to make some changes there. So beyond that, I think kind of leading into the next point, the Rangers have been doing a lot of load management this year, a lot of load management. At the beginning of the live, I kind of expressed that I really would have liked to have seen Jonah Heim today. Don't take Doley and Heim out of the lineup, same game, mix and match a little bit. Heim could have at least DH today, but there's so much load management going on with the Rangers right now. And I get it. It's a hard week. It's a long week, but there has been a lot. And I know Siegs is coming off an injury and didn't get much of a spring training. But some of these other guys, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's an overreaction on my part, but it just seems like every 3-4 games we have multiple starters out. And I think that if you need to give a guy a little bit of a rest day, DH him. Like if Doley was just really lagging, just wasn't himself or wasn't 100%, needed a little bit of a break. I mean, DH him. And I was glad to see him pinch hit today. In fact, it shocked me because I feel like so many times when these Rangers players have days off, they just are totally out of it, right? Like they're not going to come in the game at all, even to pinch hit. Like Seager, I don't think I've seen him pinch hit at all as a Ranger when he has a day off. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't think Seager has ever pinch hit. Not a game that I've seen. Maybe there's one or two mixed in there somewhere the past 2 or 3 years, but it just seems like when Seager is off for the day, he's off for the day. And a lot of Rangers are like that. So when Dolly came up in that final at bat with 2 outs in the ninth, I was overjoyed because it just doesn't seem like a strategy the Rangers employ very much when they give their starters the day off. But I think it makes a ton of sense. And I think it's huge when you can give a guy most of the day off. And then when the eighth or ninth inning rolls around, you say, hey, stay hot, go down in the cages, take some swings. And if a spot comes up, a big RBI opportunity, a big moment in the game, we'll give you an opportunity. I think that it was huge. And I loved seeing Dolly come in and do some pinch hitting today when the Rangers had a big opportunity, runners on first and second, 2 outs, chance to potentially go ahead there on a home run, tie the game on a double. I think that it was wonderful to see Rangers kind of divert a little bit from what they usually do when they rest their starters. So Dolly pinch hitting today, loved it. Little bit concerned, maybe it's just the schedule, but just don't love all the load management early. I'm sure it's going to pay off and just pay these huge dividends for the Rangers. Everybody's going to be really fresh in the middle of the summer when all the other teams that have been playing their starters this entire time are just dragging. You know, I'm sure Bochy's got something up his sleeve with all these days off for players. Seager, I totally understand. Coming off the injury, didn't get a spring training. You know, that being said, I would just like to see a little less every 3 days we got to rest multiple starters at one time. We'll see what happens. But those are kind of the three big things for today. And beyond that, let's just go to the box score. Not going to be much there for you guys with 2 runs scored, but Semien goes 1 for 4 with an RBI. Duran goes 1 for 4 with an RBI as well. And beyond that, Langford had a hit. Smith had a hit and a walk. And then we had Kisner with a hit. Taveras had a hit. So we had not everybody getting a hit today. Seager hitless, Carter hitless, Walsh did not get a hit. But beyond that, not a whole lot else. Some big moments in the game. We had the Tigers taking an early lead in the bottom of the third. Really thought that in the second inning, there was just such a, I think it might have been in one of the other innings. I think it was, I'm just looking at my notes here. I believe it was in the, oh man, why am I missing it? Oh, I got it. Never mind, guys. My bad. The third inning. And Evan Carter just with a horrible error with 2 outs. And I think Leote in maybe the second inning had a fly ball to center field I felt like he could have caught. In the second inning, John Gray was able to work around it. But in the bottom of the third, that Evan Carter error in right field was so costly. And, you know, look, it wasn't the difference in the ball game. John Gray was actually able to limit the damage to that 1 run. But with that being said, really concerning to see multiple errors in the outfield for a Rangers team that was just so well known for their defense last year especially. Maybe it's just one of those games, but I really thought John Gray did a great job today. I already said this, but just kept his composure, even with some of the errors. Leote, I know that goes down as like a double or a triple. They didn't give Leote the error, but really seemed like a ball he probably could have caught. I've seen Leote make some incredible plays. The one in the postseason against Alvarez in the ALCS comes to mind. Probably the play of the postseason, him robbing Yordan Alvarez's home run in the ALCS. I think that was game 3 or 4. But, you know, and then Carter with the ground ball kind of going past his glove all the way back to the track. Just not like the Rangers, but John Gray just did a great job working around it today. And I was very, very impressed with him. Hopefully we can get him his first win. I mean, can we just score 5 or 6 runs early for John Gray at some point and just let the guy pitch with the lead? I mean, that sure would be nice. But John Gray, 7 Ks today, 3 walks, 3 hits. So look, 6 base runners in 6 innings, 1 earned run. You just can't complain, man. John Gray, 3.44 ERA on the year. you got to feel like with Leiter announced as coming up, you got to feel like he absolutely, John Gray we're talking about here, felt like he had to step up and perform. I mean, I don't know. I think that he really probably was thinking to himself, the way that I've been pitching, not up to my standard. And there's some guys that are coming up now in the rotation. There's going to be some guys coming back healthy. I think John Gray had a little fire under him, and man, did he turn out a great performance today, and then also in the game last week against the A's, looked amazing as well. So very pleased with what we're getting from John Gray. Very, very pleased with that. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's do a little check around the league and see what some of the other scores are. I don't know if there's any other games that have gone final, to be honest. I know we were one of the only early games today. Oakland doesn't play till tonight. We also have, Seattle playing later tonight. Angels are up 3-1 in the fifth inning on Tampa Bay. And Houston and Atlanta are just about underway. This doesn't even look like the game started yet. So no other games final. The Angels could take over first place from the Rangers with a win today. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So we'll do some scoreboard watching tonight. Tomorrow's game for the Rangers, Dane Dunning on the bump. And let's see who is opposing. Dane Dunning going up against Skubal. Got it. So we'll see how that matchup goes. Looks like we have not faced the Detroit starter too much, and looks like there's a few guys that have close to double digits at bats against Dunning, but nothing that pops out with the matchup here. Looks like Heim has a home run. So there you go. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup. Doley is 2 for 6 against the starter for Detroit tomorrow. And Taveras 1 for 1, Semien 1 for 2, Seager 2 for 3. So look, small sample size, but could be a nice bounce back game. Hopefully it's a nice bounce back game for the offense. I think the offense should be better tomorrow. I totally agree. What's up, Mike? Thanks for popping in again. Appreciate you. But I think it should be a better day for the offense tomorrow. Hopefully we got everybody going tomorrow, Wednesday. And we got kind of all the off days out of the way. Monday, Seager was out. We also had, of course, today, Garcia, Heim out as well. Langford got an off day on Monday. I'm really hopeful that Wednesday, Thursday, we can go full steam ahead with all the starters, and we're not continuing to just bench or rest guys for load management's sake. With the load management, I get it. It's a long season. I just worry when you're giving days off to guys that are hot. Jonah Heim 2 for 4 last night, and then you bench him the next day. And I feel like there's been a couple of times, like Evan Carter. I remember in that Astros series, he had just hit a home run, and then like a couple days later, you bench him to give him a day off. I'm just not a big fan of a guy's had a great game. Let's give him a day off tomorrow. I mean, unless he's really needing it. But a guy like Heim could have easily DH'd today, and we could have let Kisner get the start behind the plate to give Heim's legs a break. But I'm just not a huge fan when we're doing load management for guys that are actually hitting the baseball well when our offense is going like it is right now. So with that being said, hopefully tomorrow is indeed a better day for this offense. Yeah, the Detroit starter's real good. He's going to be a good challenge for them. And I think that the Rangers are probably going to have their hands full again. That being said, it's hard to imagine them being as non-existent as they were back-to-back games. We were fortunate to get the 1-0 win yesterday. We only scored 2 runs today, so 3 runs scored in 2 games. Not a big recipe for success. That being said, it goes like that for the Rangers sometimes. They'll score 1 run, and then they'll put up 12 the next game. They did that last year, and they've kind of shown that they like to do that this year too. Lefty starter for Detroit tomorrow, though, right? So we'll see if they bench Carter. I've kind of gone off on that. I really would like to see Evan Carter just get an extended amount of playing time, lefty or righty. I think that I'm not going to be surprised if they don't have Carter in the lineup tomorrow against the lefty starter. I'd like to see him just hit lefties, and let's do a 2-month sample and see what we get. After 1 month, maybe two if you include the postseason. I feel like the Rangers kind of jumped to a conclusion about him. Look, Evan Carter faced a lefty today, and 6-pitch quality at bat. Didn't obviously get the call. He got rung up on strike 3, but I think it was a quality at bat for Evan Carter today against the lefty. He's always going to have that good eye. I would just let Evan Carter play. We don't need to mix and match him yet. He's 21 years old. Hopefully he'll get an opportunity to start at least showing that he deserves to be an everyday player. We'll see what the Rangers have in mind. But tomorrow's another early game. We've got, I believe, another 12:10 Texas time start. There's day games the rest of the way in this series. Wednesday's a day game. Thursday's a day game. We talked about it at the beginning of the live. I have no idea why they decided to do that, but it is what it is. So hopefully Rangers will be able to get a win, at least guarantee a split of the series. And if all goes well tomorrow, we'll go for 3 out of 4 on Thursday. But we have Dunning tomorrow, Leiter on Thursday. I'm excited about that. Don't know what to expect 100%. Leiter had a really great start last time out, his last AAA start. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits. They were all home runs, all solo shots. 3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. So I think Leiter has looked better. I think the coaches all acknowledge that. He had a rough season last year, had to go to the developmental site and work some things out. It was actually kind of concerning, right? In the early 2023 season, Leiter was really struggling in the minors, but all I've heard is that he's really turned it around in the offseason and this spring. So hoping positive things for him. Not sure how long he's going to be going. Not sure how long the Rangers are going to leave him out there, but I hope he can have a solid start. I don't think this Detroit offense is anything overwhelming. I don't think that they're bad by any means, but I think this is a good team for him to get his feet wet with. I really don't feel like this is an offense that's just going to overwhelm you, but there are some guys throughout the lineup that are tough at bats. That being said, I'm glad that he's not making his MLB debut against the Braves or the Astros. The Tigers, although no slouch, are a good team, I think, a quality team, but a good team for Leiter to get his first MLB start with. So I'm excited about that on Thursday. We'll have more on that matchup as the week goes on. So that's all I got for you today, guys. I'll check some comments out here and there. By the way, we were having some difficulties with Facebook connection today and with Instagram. So we'll repost probably, or we'll give you guys the highlights, the short version. But I know my people on YouTube are with me today and on X as well. So I appreciate you guys. We'll get the video up for everybody else. So if you're watching this a little bit later on, appreciate you tuning in, and apologies for the technical difficulties. You know how technology goes sometimes, right? So thank you to all of you for tuning in. Appreciate the support. Thank you for liking, sharing, following, watching, all that good stuff. Tough day for the Rangers today. Our system, betting 1 cent for every Facebook follower, is dipping down back into the red again. We just had made it back into the black after the victory yesterday. We're dipping back down into the negative again. But you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. Hopefully we get back in the black and the Rangers get back in the win column. Appreciate all you guys. And as we always say here at Right On Rangers, God bless. Go Rangers. Hope all y'all have a great day.